Hello fellow plastic throwers, this is Fulcrum, and finally we're going to be doing a review of my custom CYMA CM032 DMR, or as we all know it, the M14. Now annoyingly this is so big it won't fit into frame properly, but the length of this gun is around 45 inches, which is around 114 centimeters, so it's a pretty big gun. It's a full length battle rifle. This is not the SOCOM variant, this is the full length M14. So it's not going to be my first choice in close quarter combat, and in fact the length of it can be a bit of a pain in woodland, especially moving amongst trees because it gets caught on everything in the northern hemisphere. Now this gun is a mixture of metal and plastic. The upper receiver, outer barrel, magazine release, trigger, sling mounts, sights, they're all made of metal. The heat shield is made of plastic, and the stock is made from real authentic Chinese plastic wood. This gun weighs a pretty hefty 4.3 kilograms, which is 9.6 pounds, and that is with the plastic stock. With a wooden stock, I reckon this might be tipping closer to 6 kilograms. Now this gun's about 5 years old and she's had quite a lot of use, and there are a few things missing from the externals. I've managed to lose the selector switch, the bolt assembly, the bolt release on the left side of the gun. So unfortunately the bolt is not as nice and clacky as it used to be. This is the trigger and trigger safety. You just push that safety out of the way and you can pull the trigger. The selector switch is usually up here. The magazine release is a ambidextrous paddle AK style magazine release, and I quite like these ones, and I have no complaints with it. You also have a sling mount on the bottom of the stock, and the other sling mount's usually here. However, I managed to lose it, so what I did is I screwed a piece of RIS rail in instead, which allows me to have a bipod on this gun. The top rail mount on this gun screws into the side of the receiver. The scope on this gun is a generic 40mm objective lens scope with 3 to 9 times magnification. The iron sights on this gun are rear aperture and front post. Even though I use a telescopic sight on this gun, it is nice having some good iron sights. On the butt plate of the gun, you have a folding shoulder rest. This piece rests on the top of your shoulder, which takes a bit of the weight out of the gun, and it can make it a bit more tolerable holding it for extended periods of time. And underneath the shoulder rest you have your battery compartment. You can fit a decent sized battery in it. I haven't really had any problems with the battery compartment on this gun. The hop unit on this gun is a little wheel here, which you can access even with a magazine in the gun. I like the placement of this hop unit and it seems to work alright, although the only complaint I have with this hop unit is this adjustment wheel can actually slip off of the top of the adjustment screw, which means it won't engage with the hop unit properly, and you can spin that wheel till the cows come home and you won't adjust your hop at all. Now the hop up in this gun is a Sugru R-hop. Now these types of R-hops can be a bit finicky, but when you get them working right they are absolutely amazing. To remove the flash hider and front iron sights, you want to unscrew this collar here. Which reveals a 14mm counterclockwise suppressor thread. Now I tend to use 180 round M14 mid caps in this gun, but this is a 470 round CYMA high cap. To insert the magazine you want to hook it in and snap it in place like that. There's a slight bit of play in the magazine, however I've not experienced any feeding issues with any of the mags I own. The gearbox in this gun is a version 7 gearbox. There are a few aftermarket parts in this gun. The motor is a GFC Tornado high torque motor. The spring is a Madball M120 spring. It also has a Madball bearing spring guide, an SHS cutoff lever and SHS spring set, and apart from those parts the gearbox is completely stock. This gun fires at around 410 FPS on a 0.2 gram BB with incredibly good consistency, and this gun has also been locked to semi-automatic to comply with DMR rules. And as we've mentioned before, this has a Sugru R-hop. Now this allows me to lift incredibly heavy BBs with very little hop pressure at all. Combine a Sugru R-hop with a massive 550mm internal barrel and you have one hell of a long range gun. The effective range of this gun is 90 meters, and I have got some kills in combat at that distance, and the maximum effective range is around 95 meters, which for a DMR is not bad. And I also found out recently that a few of my local sites have actually increased their DMR limit up to 450 FPS, and this gun's firing at 410 and it will do 90 meters comfortably. I reckon if we squeeze an extra 40 FPS out of it, we'll break the 100 meter barrier. And that for a DMR would be astonishing. 100 meters is sniper rifle territory, and properly upgraded sniper rifles at that. Given the fact that this has the range of a sniper rifle and is semi-automatic, this gun is absolutely lethal against snipers within its effective range. And whilst depending on sight rules you can't just rapidly fire a DMR, the fact is you can fire about 3 shots in the time that a bolt action can fire 1. Now whilst the version 7 is a quiet gearbox, it's still noisier than a bolt action, but it does make up for the fact that it's semi-automatic. Now, being a long range weapon, it is big and heavy, so if you do get people within, say, 60 metres, it starts to become a bit of a hindrance. Now, the drawbacks of this gun are completely overshadowed by the massive amount of range you get with this gun and the really good accuracy over that massive range as well. So would I recommend the CYMA CM032 M14? Well, if you want an incredibly dangerous DMR build which isn't based off an armour-like design, then I would definitely recommend you pick up one of these things, because with very few parts, as I've found, you can get outrageous range and incredible accuracy out of these things. Sure, it's big, sure, it's heavy, but when you're hitting people at 90 to 95 metres with a DMR, you can't complain. So that's it for this review. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions about this gun, then make sure you leave them down in the comments. If you found this video helpful at any point, then make sure you leave a like, and if you don't want to miss out on any new content, then make sure you subscribe. Just remember to turn on notifications. And as always guys, play fair, play safe, take care.